Greetings! Welcome to the Devlog for hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So, what have we got for you this week? Well, this week is just going to be a feature preview video. There's no build, there's no alpha this week, but I wanted to show you something that honestly has been sort of on the back burner in my head for a while. I've been sort of like, sort of moving around the idea, trying to figure out if there was a way that I could implement it in a way that I found satisfying, consistent, and would work on all control schemes and all controllers, which is always a challenge anytime I add something that uses a new button. So, and this happens to be a fairly frequently requested feature, which is tactical reloading. And what I mean by tactical reloading, I don't mean like the AK style, we grab a mag and we tear out the mag, although that is sweet. I mean the way in which one can essentially, with a magazine already in one's hands, reach over, pull the magazine out of a firearm, and then insert the other one next to it in one fluid motion without having to put down the first mag. There's a very popular user mod that implements this functionality its own way, called Better Hands. For a while, the way that when I ended up looking, I was like, all right, so let's see how this mod works. And I was like, oh dear. It apparently works via sort of creating fake quick belt slots around the hand, which, aside from the fact that breaks a whole bunch of assumptions in subtle ways, some of which are hard to predict, just sort of gave me the heebie-jeebies. So I was like, all right, is there a way that I can get this to work that doesn't do that? And I met with some success doing so. So let's take a look. Let's actually grab a testing rifle here. Let's grab ourselves a standard mag. It's one of those features that the initial part of it took way less time than handling all the strange corner cases, and I'm still finding even more strange corner cases as I work on it. But let's give ourselves a demonstration. I need to actually put, an optic on the top of this. Boop, 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 boop. I don't know about you, but I love this one. Cool. Reset our sheet. Cool. So let's say we were in combat here. We mag dumped ourselves. So we are out. We can pull a magazine out, and now with the one button that is not used for magazines on all control schemes, which is going to be down if you're in standard controls on the touchpad or the joystick, or the AX button if you're in streamlined, we can place this mag next to this mag and just click that, and it will eject the magazine into the hand. You'll notice it is now floating next to the standard mag. It's still physical there, and we can insert the prior mag, and we are left holding this one, which you can put into that pouch there. Tap. Wonderful. So what else can we do with this? Well, if we already have, I'll use an empty and a full for demonstration purposes, so it's a little easier to see which is which. If we just have one in our hands, we can also click that button to, if we are in, you know what? I have my controllers reversed. There we go. It's a problem with the Vive ones. They're symmetrical, and sometimes when I hit play in the Unity editor, it messes up my left hand from my right hand. Let's see, does that work? There we go. Cool. So you can pick that up. We can click that button again to, well, that should be dropping it. It's not, because it's being a pain in the butt. I can just drop those two. Of course, one thing breaks when I go to demonstrate it, as is tradition. So you can pick that up. I can hold this over a quick belt slot and also click that AX button to drop the extra mag into the quick belt slot before releasing that one. Similarly, I can use it to pick it out of the quick belt slot as well. So this should hopefully allow for a lot more clever ammo management. One of the other problems that I sought to sort of fix with this is there's this sort of problem of how far away should those mags actually be from each other when we're holding. And you would think it would be easy to just be like, oh, I just want to take a trivial measurement. How thick is this? For a whole bunch of dumb reasons. It is not nearly as straightforward as you would think. But I did get it working. So if we happen to have two thick boys here, we can pick those up, and those are the same distance apart from each other than if I pick these two up here. So that, and it even handles like averaging those correctly for cross-compatible magazine types that are different thicknesses. There we go. Whack. Whack. As Anton redecorates the ceiling of this here thing. Now, what's cool as well is that the exact same font, a lot of people don't know this, but if you just have an empty hand here and hold the grab button down, if you eject by clicking down on the touchpad or the AX button a magazine from a gun with your hand near this, it will, whoops, what happened there? Huh, that was a new bug. You know, I don't know where it is trying to send that mag. Does it do it with the standard one? Woohoo! I broke something! Our magazine really wants to be with our gun there. So if that isn't breaking, it should just eject the magazine into the hand. I bet I just have some broken math there. But what this also means is that I can click down to eject this magazine as well into the extra position of that hand there. Eject into the hand, like so. Load. Wonderful. Haha! Boink, boink. So yeah, so there you have it. As you can see, this system still has a bunch of bugs in it. I need to make sure, I need to add in a whole bunch of extra sort of guarded state. There are some odd cases where it can select the wrong thing when you want to do that, so I have to add in a little bit of smart prioritization, as well as to make sure my left and right hands aren't flipped there. I will have to plug in some index controllers that are actually asymmetric to double check that that works. But yeah, so I should hopefully have a alpha of this feature, as well as some other stuff ready for you folks to play with next week. So I hope you are excited about that. I sure am. Anywho, let's jump out of VR and talk about a couple other things quick. Yo! So yeah, I hope you are excited to give that a try. I know a number of folks in the past have asked me to, just be like, why don't you just integrate the Better Hands mod? Beyond the fact that I just don't want to go down the road of being asked to do that with every other future mod that is in any way prominent. Better Hands is one of those sorts of mods that, just from my design perspective, fits people who already mod a game very well. It has a whole bunch of things about it that it sort of expects you to configure in terms of like which input you want it to be. And one of the things about that is that it's how to put it, because of the fact that it can function with other things in your hand with an override other than magazines, it exists in a context where you can't count on that button always being free. And in terms of making this, evaluating this as a sort of first party integrated into the game feature, my primary goal was to make it something that a user wasn't going to have to think about or configure at all. It was just going to always be the same button. It was always going to work in that context. It was going to position the mags correctly no matter what. And so I'm about 80% of the way there. As I said, there's a few corner cases I still need to work out. I'm trying to do this in a way that doesn't require any added metadata, because of course there are lots of people who make mod content for magazines and such, and I don't want to make it so that everyone has to go back and like check a box to support this feature or to disable this feature. So I want the feature to sort of naturally be smart enough to go, okay, this is a mag that you could hold two of in your hand, or it's not. So it would just, instead of me having to specifically go, no, you can't hold two M60 box mags in your hand at once, it'll just know it can't do that automatically. So I'm still working on that, but the whole point is I want to try to make it as smart and frictionless of a feature as possible. So, and I'll admit, it's already pretty fun to play with there. So, but for those of you, I know there's a bunch of you play the game modded to the gills, and for those of you who still want to just continue using better hands because it's what you're used to, or you prefer just the way that feels or works, you'll be able to disable this in the options. It'll be turned on by default, but it'll just be a simple toggle to disable the inbuilt, tactical mag holding or whatever it ends up getting named. So yeah. Whew. And then beyond that, there was one other topic I wanted to cover just because I've had a couple people ask me about it, and I figured I should explain. Some of you may have noticed, and I notice it with the comments. They're like, hey, when are those doors coming back? When is X coming? What about the desert map, etc., 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 that you've probably noticed over the course of really like the past 6 months, maybe a little longer, that I am not working as fast as I used to. And so I figured it was about time that I sort of covered it. Just to let all of you know, I've been sort of like battling a bunch of sort of myriad health issues for the better part, basically since last October. You know, gut stuff, some of it just like being sedentary, some of it, hitting my late 30s, some of it pandemic stuff, some of it giant, terrifying question mark. And what that simply means is that, and frankly put, I'm sure a lot of it is just the like, I've sat in this chair making this game for half a decade. Turns out that's not really good for your health. So what that has meant is that I'm now attempting in my late 30s to right that ship and get in better health. As I'm pretty low energy these days. It used to be the case that I could just sort of rocket away on H3. Truly, like, there were many weeks where I kept a 60, 70-hour week, and that was normal for me because I was sick. That's called workaholism. And I just am at the point where physically I can't do that. I'm lucky if I get a really, really good focused 30-hour week at this point, and those are becoming fewer and far between. And so just so that you all understand that the relaxed pace of some of the development of this game is not for a lack of interest or inspiration or anything like that, but just I'm basically operating at the limits of my health at the moment and trying to prioritize overwork, actually trying to fix that and exercise and eat better and all of those things that are not fun at all and are pretty exhausting. And if you follow me on Twitter, have seen me being proud of my tiny little accomplishments in that degree, because it's quite a battle. But anywho, I just thought I would explain, just in case you're like, I don't understand. You used to just like throw these new game modes out, and it's not like that anymore. And, maybe at some point I'll be able to return to that pace if I'm healthier. Maybe getting healthier will make me realize that pace was never a good idea. I don't know, but I'm still here. Still making wieners, fight to the death for my amusement, just a little bit slower these days. So I hope you all understand. Anywho, that's all I got for you folks this week, and I will see you all next week with the next alpha. Peace.